Alright, so your name?
Hema.
Hema.
Mangu.
Nice name.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is a great story. It's one we've heard thousands of times before. So your eldest is how old?
She's 5.5 now.
She's 5.5. So we're going to go right back to when you were pregnant with her, and want to talk about what you and your husband were thinking with vaccines.
Okay. Well, I'm not married, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But we didn't really think about the vaccines at all, which is quite odd because we're both very healthy and health conscious, and we don't take any medication for anything, and we use a lot of essential oils and things like that. But for some reason, we just didn't think about the vaccines. But before I got pregnant, I've always had other health issues. So I went to see some kind of a person in an alternative kind of health field, and she did this test on me, and she said that I've got metals leaking in my system. And I thought, I don't know what she's talking about. So she said, it's your teeth. And as it happens, I had 10 amalgam fillings. I've had fillings in every tooth. So I went to a holistic dentist, and she removed all of them. But over a year it took, a bit at a time. It's really expensive as well. But I had them all removed. And I remember her saying to me, whatever you do, don't get pregnant within a year. Just make sure you detox. And so I thought, yeah, I'm not going to get pregnant. And what happens? 3 months later, I'm pregnant. But I didn't actually think about it. It didn't register. So I got pregnant and I had a natural birth.
They didn't offer you any vaccines while you were pregnant?
Yeah. No, they didn't actually. They didn't, not with her.
I'm not sure that they do that over here.
No, they did with my other two.
They did.
They did the flu shot and things like that.
All right.
But no, with her they didn't. So so I had her, and I had her water birth, and I remember them going to give her the vitamin K, and my partner going, "What are you doing?" And I said, "What are you doing? Just they know what they're doing, just leave them to it." And so so she had the vitamin K. And it's only now, looking back, after we got the diagnosis, when she was a 1.5 years, that we kind of realised that we had warning signs the whole way, and we just, for some reason, we didn't look into it until she was diagnosed. Then we thought, oh, okay, so when she had the vitamin K, for the first 8 to 12 weeks...
Was it oral?
No, she had the injection.
Okay.
And she had really bad gas problems, really bad. She was always up all night screaming. She was sick and she had diarrhea, and that was for the first 4.5 years of her life. Basically, she's had issues, but we didn't realise at the time it could be linked to that. And at 2 months old, she had the first one, which was DTaP, and she seemed to be fine to me. I didn't notice anything. So then when she came to the next one, she had that one. But then we were abroad, and she got this rash all over her body, and we thought it was the heat. We didn't even question vaccines. And then at I think it's 8 months, no, 3, 5 and 8, because I was in Iceland. And so they had, so basically she had a reaction after each one. She had rashes after one, then she had major diarrhea after another, and she had fever. She had lots of things going on. And then around 12 months was when we noticed when she'd got upset, she'd start headbanging. Like she'd want to bash her face on tiles and things, which was really odd. And another thing she started to do was she'd try and, she'd go to gouge your eyes out when she got upset. She'd be trying to dig into your eyes, which is just such a weird thing for a child to do. And she'd do it to herself, and we just thought, well, there's something not right here. So at 12 months, we started modifying her diet and changing things, taking dairy out, taking wheat out. And so we noticed improvements there, but she still had diarrhea and constipation and extreme bloatedness.
Had you linked it to the vaccines at this point?
Night sweats, all that kind of thing. No, we didn't. And the funny thing is, afterwards when we looked back, we actually emailed the doctor each time and said, this is going on. And she was like, well, don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. So we've actually got emails back and forth from which were after her shots, because we'd questioned it each time. But we didn't, I just don't know. Now I think back, it's so obvious. But because everyone's saying, no, it's okay, you kind of go, yeah, it's okay. And then when we got the diagnosis, that's when we actually looked at what autism was, because I'd never really thought about it.
Did she have the MMR?
Yeah.
What age did she have MMR?
She had that at 17, 18 months, around there.
Was that her last vaccine?
Yeah.
And she obviously had others with it?
No, just that one.
Just the MMR?
Just the MMR. Yeah.
Okay.
So she only had that one. And yeah, and then things really went like backwards then, and just her behaviour and odd things like her eyes didn't, she was never like quite focused on you. That kind of, one of them would go to the side.
After the MMR or before?
That's it. I don't know exactly when all these things happened, but she's got all of them, like when we look at it. And she used to sleep arched back and her head was always backwards, and we didn't think that was anything. But it's only when you look into all these different doctors saying this and that you kind of go, he said that, she said this, and you kind of think, oh my gosh, it's all so obvious now. So
did you, after the MMR, and that was her final vaccine, did you ever go back to these doctors and say, we really do think it's the vaccine?
we mentioned it when we, with our second daughter, when we said no, we're going to hold off on it, and she was like, why? And we kind of said, well, because we think the vaccines did have something to do with it. And I remember her once just thinking, and then I thought, oh, she's thinking about something here. And then she said, you know, you can have however many shots in each arm and it's fine. I can't remember what that bigger thing is that they say to people, however many shots in one arm. I think Paul Offit said it, or someone.
Well, not the 10,000 line, surely.
Yeah, I think she said that.
Well, and I come over here, that line. That's
yeah,
terrible.
She said, no, well, this is in Iceland. And I was like, okay. So I never said anything after that. After she said that, I thought there's no point going anywhere with this. We'll just have to leave it. But I was quite naive at the time. I used to tell everyone, oh, you know what the vaccines do? This is what's happened to us. You need to look into it. And then we got met with all this resistance, and we thought, you can't even talk about this. It was really odd. And it's only now that I've got to the point where I just don't talk about it to anyone. Unless someone comes to me, then I will speak to them. But I find people so aggressive that I just can't cope with it. And I've had, people like swearing at me and pointing fingers in my face when I'm carrying a child and like saying you're a threat, you're this, you're that. And I think, okay.
Well, it's very brave of you to come and talk to it now, but you have been watching some of these stories. You have Periscope?
Yes, Periscope. Yes, hello, Periscope. yeah, so...
and has that helped you come out to tell your story?
That
you're
not alone.
Thousands.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's only people on Periscope and on these groups on Facebook that actually find a network, because all the people I know, there's only 2 people I actually know that I can physically have a conversation with who would agree with me. But I don't know anyone else that does. They all kind of go, yeah. And I can see they're thinking, oh, whatever, you're just a bit, So I just think, well, there's no point talking to them.
So you have your next child.
Yeah.
And have you worked it out by the time she's born?
No. So she's had 2. She's had the vitamin K, and then she's had the first DTaP. And then that was when we figured it out and we stopped.
And did she have any reaction from those?
Well, I don't know. I don't really know. My partner thinks she does, but I don't know.
Well, let's talk about your last child then.
Yeah, he's had nothing.
No vitamin K, nothing.
Yeah.
And he's how old? Just over a year?
He's 17 months now, yeah.
And how is he?
He's fine. He's amazing. He's really strong, healthy. He gets coughs and colds, but he's building his immunity naturally, and he's doing really well.
Do you see any of the signs with the vaccinated children? How do they compare health-wise?
Well, yeah, the others are sick a lot more. My first one's sick all the time, and when she gets a cough or her ear infections, they last for weeks and weeks and weeks. They last ages. Whereas when he gets them, I think they are shorter. But he's a lot stronger.
And I was talking to your mum outside, and she was just saying how he is just so inquisitive, and she really mentally sees a difference.
Yes. He responds. He says, and everything you say to him, he understands. Even though he can't talk yet, he really understands. So you say, look, go and put that in a bin. And he'll go and put it in a bin.
And he's a boy,
yeah,
and the other 2 are girls.
Yes. Yeah.
So with everything that you've been through, because you've done your own little vax, you've done vaccinated, partially vaccinated, and completely unvaccinated. Yeah. What's your summary?
Well, don't vaccinate. I just don't let those things near your kids at all. I just think they're pure poison. I really do. And when people say, well, which vaccinations should I have? I just think none of them ever. You shouldn't have any of them. They're just not necessary. I just don't believe in that anymore at all. I never will. Even if someone does say, oh, we've created the vaccination for this or that, that's safer. I don't think any of it's safe. I really don't.
We are, going around all the countries right now at the moment,
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
the stories are the same.
Yeah.
They're all, your story is just one of, as I said, thousands, and the vaccinated children are sick to different degrees.
Yeah.
The unvaccinated are super healthy. Why do you think that they've never done an independent vax versus unvax study?
I just think it's all about money, I think. I think they'll never do it. I think they'll never do it now. Too much time has gone on since the issues were raised. For how long is it now? 20 years almost? Just think how many kids have been damaged and hurt in that time. I think they'll never... I hope they would do it, but...
Well, we don't think that they are, so that's why we're doing it. So what, again, last time is your advice as someone who's done the study in a home to the young parent?
To look into it for yourself. Really, I want to say don't vaccinate, don't go near it, but...
It's okay, you're not a doctor, you're not going to lose your medical license. You're a mum speaking to another mum.
You just look into it, just start researching yourself, and then you'll start realising what the ingredients are in vaccines and what they do, how damaging they are, the aluminium in them, the mercury in them, they're just not good, they're so toxic. Watch The Truth About Vaccines. Watch all, just this, the information is out there, you've just got to find it and educate yourself.
As you go about your daily life in the supermarket and in school playground and stuff, do you see vaccine injury?
Yeah, I think you see it everywhere. And Andrew Maldon talks about it, doesn't it? Well, he's passed away now, but he talks about injury, and you can see it in the eyes of children. Yeah, I feel like you see it everywhere all the time, but it's seen as normal now. Society thinks everything's normal, and they're just a bit different, and everything should be acceptable. And I just think, well, that's not the normal. That's become the new normals, and that's why people don't question it anymore. And I think that's just wrong and weird, because
How do you feel, for example, I've now listened to so many stories that GPs here in England, paediatricians in America, make me so angry with the way that they lie to us parents. How do you feel about the fact that you were lied to?
Yeah, no, it makes me so angry. But I feel like you can't have a conversation about it. What I find odd about the whole thing is you just can't talk about it. People aren't interested. And I've mentioned it to the doctor once, and I saw him look at me and say, there's no proof, and there's no proof that in what you're saying. And I just think, okay, I really can't go. I can't. If my own doctor's saying that, there's nothing you can say to them, and I just think, I don't know. I just think it's really hard. You can't speak to doctors about any of this. I can't remember what the question was. Sorry.
Nor can I. Your daughter is damaged, and that's horrific.
Yeah.
But
she's doing so well.
She has so much potential.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't actually, normally we say that the vaccine can spot them as they come towards us, and I didn't.
Oh, well, that's brilliant.
So until you pointed it out, she's out there playing.
Yeah.
And she's going to be great.
But you can see in his eyes, as soon as she brought him in the room,
you can see the
how bright he
unvaccinated.
is.
Yeah. Like, I feel like you can see it in her eyes, and I think you can see there's certain things like in her understanding, and she just doesn't understand things in the same way compared to the 2-year-old and the 1.5-year-old, the 3.5 and 1.5. But I know she's doing so well.
She's doing so well.
Yeah, and I just feel like we just need to keep working with her, and that's what we've been doing, and biomedical stuff. And
well, you're a great family. Your mum's out there. She's had a lovely chat with her. I can't talk about it on camera, but she is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
You've got a great
She's
family,
great.
and anything else you want to say?
No, just don't vaccinate her. That's it.